Hey everyone, today I want to do a review. I already did one here on the channel, but I want to do a flip through as well of Betty Edwards' drawing on the right side of the brain. I love this book. I know some people have some preconceived ideas about it, especially if you're going into more of the imagination creation drawing. It can stiffen up you focusing too much on the observation. But for those people that have never drawn or are starting out, there are lots of concepts to learn from this, and this is what I want to focus here today. I want to go through the table of contents. So the drawing in the art of bicycle riding. So understanding that there is a switch that will change, and that in this book focuses on your understanding of shapes, your understanding of relationships, verticals versus horizontals, and the angles. Read all of those and get that to your paper. Once you unlock that, there's no going back. So that's the understanding in here. So first exercises, the understanding of the left and right side of the brain. I know some people went against this concept of the right hemisphere versus left hemisphere, but I really want to focus on the idea behind it and not the whole like biological science of it. Crossing over, so experiencing the shift between one type of mindset, one type of mentality and process to another. So going from symbols to more shapes and observation. Drawing on memories, your history as an artist, so understanding where you come from. Symbol systems, as I said, negative spaces and positive spaces, and then getting more and more complex with perspective, faces, and values, and even getting to a point with color. The Zen of drawing, this process, I really feel that this can be a little bit of a meditation as well. I'm going to do a review on the workbook that Betty Edwards published as well. And I think there is a lot of value in that for those looking for some kind of art therapy and stuff like that. This is a great reference as well. The beauty of handwriting. There's a video by Scott Robertson on handwriting and lettering. I'll get that to the description as well. It's very interesting to understand the shapes and how that can educate your eye for quality as a whole. So let's go through it. It's a long book, so I'm gonna jump through quickly some of the parts, but it's a very good book. I've been studying this, but the 5 basic skills in drawing, this is very, very big. So the perception of edges, so understand the edge of what you're drawing and the relationship it has even with the edge of the paper, turning those edges and lines into spaces, the relationship between angles and all the spaces that we are seeing in the picture, combining everything, turning that into more of a 3D view with lights and shadows, and then the whole thing and how it works and readability, focus point of interest, and so on. Focal point. The handwriting side. So a lot of details here and on the process. Path to creativity, her approach and the path to creativity. So there's a lot of exploration. I highly recommend reading the material as well, not going straight through the exercises, but some of the beginning exercise and understanding where you are. So she always brings up this kind of examples because this is her marketing of how you turn from this to this. For example, in Cynthia's sketch over there, you're changing from the whole mentality of symbols to a more observation approach. The left and right side. Once again, do not focus too much on the biology of it, but the mentality behind it. There is this duality that she brings. I'm trying to find the page. Yeah, here. So more like verbal versus nonverbal, analytic versus synthetic, symbolic, actual, real, abstract, analogic, temporal, non-temporal, rational, non-rational, digital, spatial, logical, intuitive, and linear versus holistic. So this is the kind of thing that I think is really important here. So really go through this and understand. And of course, with practice, you get the understanding better and better of what she's doing. And I think for the creative aspect and going into more of drawing from imagination, you need both. So you need to understand anatomy, but how it looks. And even going into more drawing from memory, I'll do a review on a book, drawing from memory as well. So a lot of combinations will come, but in the beginning, if you can just focus on one aspect and get away from the symbolic at first, and then go back and forth using books like Andrew Loomis and Creative Illustration by Andrew Loomis is great on this relationship between things and the gestalt and the view of the whole. You will see a lot of things starting to relate in the methodologies. Beautiful drawing over here. So crossing the line using the vases example. This is, you've probably seen this before. If you focus on the positive shape, you see a vase. If you focus on the negative, you see faces. Drawing upside down. So this is, I think, the most famous example from this book. Probably everyone that has seen anything on drawing has seen this, but you should definitely give it a try. And if you buy the workbook as well, there is a space to do it in there. Child drawings. I think it's very interesting chapter over here. I would love to go deeper into this at some point and discuss drawings from childhood and how to build on top of that. So going into spaces, negative spaces, a little bit of automatic drawing and using your viewfinder. She teaches you how to make one, but if you buy the workbook, it brings one of those for you to use as well. The importance of the viewfinder is that you have a vertical and a horizontal line that will guide your overall deconstruction of the form. And we're getting to like very strong negative versus positive shapes. If you're drawing vegetation, if you have ever tried, I'm going to review some interesting books on drawing vegetation, Sarah Simblett, Botany for the Artist, and so on. You can see that just drawing some black shapes or dark shapes against white shapes or lighter shapes, you have the illusion of vegetation. It's very important to focus on those negative shapes if you are drawing vegetation. It will make it way more beautiful and the whole experience more pleasant. Even if you're drawing like a goat here, you focus understanding those relationships, understanding the readability of the black and white figure. If you can understand what it is through the silhouette, if you tried character creation, character design, you know that the silhouette is really important. There are lots of examples throughout the internet on cartoon characters and their silhouettes. You can just by the silhouette, you can know most of the characters of famous cartoon shows. More examples, and then you start understanding the relationship with the rest of the page and the borders of your canvas, of your paper, and a whole composition. So never drawing in getting to the border again, because you will understand the relationship the things have. Once again, the silhouette, very important if you're focusing on understanding the negative shapes. Getting more complex, drawing a room and understanding the angles that will create the illusion of perspective. I have talked a lot about perspective here on the channel, so you probably understand what I'm talking about. And I'll talk more about perspective going forward. So this really interesting. And this is not drawing from plotting vanishing points in the horizon line and so on. It's focusing on angles. So what are the angles related to the vertical and the horizontal? And then you can understand the whole thing. You can use the vanishing point at some point, and then you have all the vanishing lines and the converging lines, and it makes it easier to understand this drawing. But forcing your understanding and your perception of those shapes will go a long way every time you're drawing. And I'll do a review on a book focusing on drawing urban sketching. More than one book, actually. Perspective for urban sketchers and drawing architecture. And you see a lot of those relationships come back again. Degas. I'll do a review on a memory drawing one that will have some Degas quotes as well. So very interesting. And now we're getting to a point where portrait drawing. So it's getting, once again, more complex. And the symbols will become really, really big here. We all know to draw a nose as a triangle or like a head more round. And you have to break those if you want to get the right shapes from what you're drawing. So very, very interesting. I'll move a little faster. The Sargent drawing of Madame Pierre Gautreau. Very beautiful, and you can understand also, I'll mention that on the workbook as well, because you have this in there. The contrast of the line weight in here and in here, the controlled lines on the face and the more loose lines on the back of the face and the hair, the back of the head. Very interesting. The deconstruction of the angles here as well, and the relationship of positive and negative shapes. And these, in the neck, you have a very big negative shape that you can relate to. And here, between the chin and the nose, you have smaller. And it's easier to read those smaller negative spaces than the big ones. When you have like round surfaces, it gets really hard to understand those relationships and break that down. That's why the block-in method is really interesting, because you only get straight lines, and the relationship with verticals and horizontals, it becomes really easier. So drawing well, it's a combination of things. So this is one way of seeing it, but you definitely have other resources to learn from and combine all of them. Another drawing by Sargent, Rossetti, and the more no-tan approach with two values. So that can work for a face, then that can work for any kind of illustration. If you've seen Nathan Falk's approach to the simple statement, or Andrew Loomis in creative illustration, you will understand what I'm talking about, the relationship of simple shapes. A lot of people use that. I just used two examples there, but it's simple shapes that can have a great relationship with each other and create readability with or without an understanding of what we're looking at. It could be abstract, but still beautiful. I love this drawing. Very, very nice. And for me, it's done. I don't know if they move forward, but this is enough. I love the suggestion in there. And then we get to colors, the only part of the book that is colored. She touches briefly on it and goes back to the more black and white stuff. And finally gets to the Gestalt and the full composition. I think she already did in here. and then goes to the Zen parts of the drawing process. I really need to read this book again. The handwriting and the aesthetic of lettering. This is really, really nice as well, and very important. I think this whole chapter should be a class on this, at least a video. So yeah, that's pretty much it. My manifesto on the importance of this book and why I love it so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're excited to draw from observation and then move on to whatever method you want to use. And this is a great resource. Yeah, hope you like this video. See you on another one. Take care.